Hey YouTube, how you guys doing tonight? Kevin here coming at you with another video. Well, I took the flywheel off earlier and you can see it's got all the white corrosion. That's water because it was missing the gasket. Now, if this bike right here had points on it, it would not run. This white corrosion doesn't bother us. This engine right here is the KE100 that I got from Tim that I heard run. This is common when the gasket right here breaks. What happens is your chain is spinning and throwing water inside here, and then that's what happens. If it had points on it, it would be all corroded and it wouldn't run. But because it has CDI, it will run. But we don't care about any of that right now. We are after the magneto. So what I did was I took the bolts out, the screws, the Phillips screws, which are the same ones used on the KV75. So we got both of those. We got the ones down there. Here it is. Gonna put those in my pocket. And we're going to take the magneto out, if we can. Very carefully. Pop that out. I need two hands for this, so I'm gonna just pause you guys. I'll be right back. Okay. So, this right here is the magneto plate for the KV75 or the, what do you call it there? I think it's the MT1 Kawasaki. So we're converting this bike over to CDI ignition. This is the charge coil for the lights. These are the charge coils for the lights on a Kawasaki KE100. We don't care about this section. We just want this coil. That coil right there is the CDI pickup for the, what do you call it there, CDI unit. Now, I got to explain this to you guys because I know a lot of you guys are going, huh? That doesn't look like a pickup. That's not what I'm used to seeing. Alright, well, it's because it's a little differently than you're used to. But that is the CDI for the KE100. Now, the CDI itself is built into the ignition coil. So you got a regular standard ignition coil. See how fat this coil is? Right here, in here, is where the CDI is actually built into. So this part and this part is all that makes up the CDI unit. That's it. So we're going to take that CDI unit and put it right here and wire it in. So that's what we're going to work on tonight. So to do this, you got to flip it over, and then you will see there's a ground right here that goes up to that coil. So we got to take that ground off, and then we got to go into here and separate the wiring from that. So I'm going to go ahead and unscrew that screw, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we unscrewed the ground from this strap right here. That's where it goes. That's one side of the coil, and then the other side goes into this wire right here. Now, since we're not using this anymore, I'm just going to snip the wire up in here. And then you can always make the wires longer, but it's easier to keep the lead. This right here, this material, is the same as on the back. This, remember I told you we're going to keep that little piece. Same reason, because we're going to use that again when we solder it. Okay, so let's get that snipped. We don't want to snip the other wires. We just want the one that goes up to this coil right here. Okay, so I also want you guys to note that right here and right here need to be filed down a little bit so there's clearance for this to slide into it. It should slide into it easy. If it does not slide into it easy, it's not going to work properly. So this one here is too tight, so I'm just using a regular file right here, and I'm gonna sand down just a little bit so that plops into it. Okay, so I'll be right back. Now, once you get that file down so the pickup fits into it, and there's actually part number on this. Put that there for you. 14308. Once this fits into the plate, you're going to be faced with this. there were 2 screws right here that came off of it, and then there are 2 other factory screws that came off the KV one. Now the KV has less windings and it's thicker here. This one has less windings, more windings, and it's thinner. So you are going to use the ones that came off this one, the 2 smaller screws. Okay? You're going to use the 2 smaller screws. Okay, so what we have here is we had to file down the bosses on the inside here and the inside here so it fits in there. And then I used my drill and a small drill bit to open up the holes. So see this hole, this is the coil that goes in the spot. They're not drilled in the exact same spot. In fact, this right here, this coil is actually moved out this way a little bit much. So we are going to take a little bit much out of that one, just a very little bit. So you're going to drill the hole, make it longer this way. So you got your hole here, you're going to widen it this way until it fits properly and has a nice air gap. Once you do that, you can tighten down the 2 screws and it fits flush. Also, don't forget to clean up your ground surfaces. Okay? And then you're going to do a test fit on the motor and make sure that the flywheel magnets do not rub on either of these poles. Alright, so we grounded down the bases, put this on with the 2 screws, and then we got to put the magneto, the 4 magnet mag on there. Now these mags are not interchangeable. The what do you call it there? The pitch of the cone or the taper is different. So what's basically going to happen here is it's going to be fit and refit. So on a scale of 1 to 10 on difficulty, I'm going to give this one an 8.5 because you really got to be patient with it. Because you really have to, where these screws are, you have to open them up and you have to widen it. And you got to widen it this way so that this coil right here can move backwards. You follow what I'm saying? So to get the proper air gap between here. Now the air gap can be a little less than this one. It doesn't really matter. But nevertheless, you still need an air gap. So with that said, what do you call it there? I'm going to finish doing the modification on this thing and throw it together. This is going to be, what do you call it there? The first step in construction on this CDI unit. But as you can see, it's going to work out. It's going to work out good. Then this ground right here goes onto the back side of it. Like I said, it's really just an agony of defeat. I'm going to keep posting videos on this. And this is part 2 of starting construction on the CDI. And like I said, sometimes I do things that are like, I like to put grades on them, you know what I mean? Like difficulty wise, like you would on a model, if you will. So anyway guys, thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you guys have any questions or any comments. By all means, please subscribe. Please let me know and we'll work on them. We'll get them fixed. Thanks.